Hey, welcome to the Variable Y Minute with your host, the Variable Y. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It is Friday. We have made it through this long week. I don't know about you guys, but the week's been pretty long for me, but we made it through and we're here on a Friday night show. I don't know if I told you guys how much I really enjoy Friday night shows because it gives us a chance to talk about some stuff that's not quite as serious as we love to make our sports out to be. So tonight, like I said last night, I'm going to combine a couple of things that I enjoy. If you know anything about me, and I've said this on the channel before, I enjoy playing video games. I play video games probably for a long for a long time. I'm not going to tell you how long, but for a very, very long time, I play video games, and they've always been a bit of escapism for me. So whenever things get stressful, whenever things at work get stressful, whenever things around the house get stressful, you know, kids snapping at you, wife snapping at you, yeah, from every side. I come to my video games. I come in here into the lab and I play the video games so that I know I can decompress and shut everything down and just enjoy escaping for a couple of hours or so. Even though, again, don't have much time, but when I get some time, love to come in here and play some video games. So, and I've thought of this topic before. I've always wondered, like, with the popularity of a lot of these games, I wonder if anybody's like me. I wonder if anybody has chosen to bring together two things that they really really are passionate about and they really really enjoy. So for me, one thing that I am passionate about, like I said, is video games. Another thing that I'm passionate about, as you guys can see, is sports. So I play a lot of sports video games. I've been playing sports video games for just about the time I've been playing video games, kind of like most of you all in my age range, ever since Tecmo Bowl, been playing sports video games. And some of you who are a little younger than me probably have heard of Tecmo Bowl, and you've probably seen all those YouTube videos about Bo Jackson and on Tecmo Bowl, and oh my gosh, da, 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 da. It's cool for you to watch the video, trust me, but there was nothing like it at that time. And of course, so, like I said, you had the Tecmo Bowl, and then you had the Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and then you had Double Dribble, and then you had Bird versus Jordan, and then you had Bulls versus Blazers, and then you had Bulls. Well, no, you had Bulls versus Lakers, then Bulls versus Blazers, then NBA Showdown, and I think that merged into NBA Live. So, as you can see, the game started going and going and going, and I was playing all those games at that time, kind of got out of the games and thought I was done with video games in general until Madden 99. You know what Madden 99 had that professional sports games didn't have at that time? Franchise. And what the franchise is, for those of you who don't know about video games, what the franchise is at the end of the season, if you win or you lose, the game is not over. You continue to play for a certain amount of years. I think in the beginning, it started out maybe you played for 10 years, and now it's going all the way up to 30 years in these last few, maybe about a decade or so in sports video gaming. So of course, it's going on. It's become big business, and these developers are making a killing. Like these guys are doing a lot. They're moving a lot of numbers off of these sports games. So that's just a little background on sports games. And the topic I wanted to go into tonight, I thought would be very interesting is, like I said, I play a lot of sports games, and please leave me a comment because I think I'm going to make the month of March. I think I'm going to make that my sports video game off the beaten path, because I think I got a couple of ideas that I really, really wanted to run by you guys and see if anybody else was into this kind of stuff like I am. But for now, and I've got my little list right here. So if you see me look off a screen, I look down at something, that's me looking at my list because I wrote down the way it's structured for me. And I just want to convey that to you guys. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to go through a list of sports video games, the ones that I think are the best in that genre. Now, In the major ones, in the major sports that they have out there, I'm probably going to list my top three. Some of the novice or some of the other ones that some of the ones that aren't necessarily like on my list, or aren't necessarily games that I played very often. I may only list one, and there are going to be some that I haven't played at all. And if anybody wants to leave a comment about, please feel free, because again, there may be some games that I'm not into, or maybe some sports that I'm not into. But if you may be helping somebody else out if you list one. So without further ado, sorry, someone's itching on my head. Without further ado, let's get right into it. And like I said, for me, these are my top games in this genre. So if we're going to start off with professional football, my top three games, of course, would be Madden. You know, it is what it is. I'm sorry. I know there's some people out there who absolutely hate Madden, and there's some people out there who saying that Madden is not any good. And I believe I probably played Madden. I have probably played every Madden. I probably played every Madden. I have, and some have been really good. I think some have been really bad. I think a lot have just been mediocre. But the three that stand out to me, the three that I say, no, these are the best Madden games that they had. The three that stand out to me are 2008. Well, let me just say, like, most recent, I should say. The three that stands out are 2008, the Madden 25, which, if you were going by years, I believe would be 14, but they didn't say 14, it just says 25, and Madden 11. So, and I did that out of order, but that's okay. So the reason why I enjoyed Madden 2008, and that was one of the last ones on the PS2 and Xbox. The reason why I enjoyed that is because when you were bringing guys in from your NCAA, and we'll get into those games later, if you're bringing guys in from your NCAA game, you could actually port them into your Madden game, and you could do like a senior bowl, and you could play with those players to see exactly how they stacked up in your Madden game. So you could actually like scout the player before you drafted them. And I thought that was just perfect. I thought that was very inventive. I thought that was very creative. I thought it was perfect. So I got Madden at the top. Or well, I'm sorry, that was 2008. 2011 was the first year that they went to the like the quick calling of Madden, and it made the game a lot quicker. And I just found that one to be very, very just addictive. Very addictive playing, just letting them call your plays, and you can speed the game up. And like I said, I found that one to be very, very addictive. Really, really love that game. Played that game for a couple of years. And lastly, Madden 25. Guys, I maybe since about 2014, I have played Madden 25. I've just recently started playing the new Maddens on the new generations, because on that one I had played that one, and I have played that one so long. I think I'm in my 15th season on that one, and mind you, this is with me playing other games as well, and even playing other sports games, other Maddens as well. But on that one, I think I'm in my 15th season. I've got guys on there who I'm trying to go for some major records. I got a guy on there who's trying to go for a rushing record. I had a guy I had Josh Gordon on there. On that game, Josh Gordon is amazing, by the way. I had Josh Gordon on there. He was going to break the receiving record, but he retired. So think that game was just absolutely incredible. So next, we're going to go over to the NBA. And excuse me, for NBA, the games that I play are 2K. Again, same as, this is the opposite. 2K has taken over. 2K has become the gold standard. Even though NBA Live tried to come back, they tried to make a comeback, but it really wasn't working for them. So the 2Ks that I like, and I don't really remember the year. I think it was the one with Jordan on the cover. So I believe that was 12. So I think it's 12, 16, and 19, with 16 actually being the one that I continue to play. 16 being the one that I think they did really, really well with the controls and the presentation. I would say that about 12 because I think 12 was really good. But in 16, if you have a guy who wins a championship, if you have a team that wins a championship at the beginning of the season, they lift your banner to the sky. If you have a guy who wins the MVP at the beginning of the playoffs, they got Adam Silver in there presenting him with the trophy. So I think it's just playing with the authenticity of the game. And in 12, like I said, I think 12 was really good with the gameplay as well. You also had those Jordan challenges, which were awesome, but the presentation is lacking from where it was in 16. And then in 19, I think 19 was pretty good. I do enjoy with the new uniforms and everything that you had to do. You could switch everything up, but again, I think the gameplay itself, the controls, I like the 16 controls more than I like the 19 controls. So that's just me. But can't go wrong, I don't think, with any of those three. And now with baseball. With baseball, I play baseball games a little sporadically. So I think I only have two. Well, no. I have three. And some of you are going to say, well, why are you going back this far? But I have to send it a shout out. MVP Baseball was one of the best baseball games I've ever played. So MVP 2004, I would say, was probably the best one over, and that was back on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox days. And then 2K Baseball 2K 2000 2K10 was really good, and then the show 16. And if I had to choose between those, I think I would go with the show, because the show actually does like an integrated difficulty. So it'll tell you if you're like in a hot streak, it'll increase your difficulty, and then if you're in a cold streak, it'll decrease your difficulty. And then, as you guys know, another thing I get into, another sport you could say, is pro wrestling. And I think one of the best pro wrestling games of all time. I know many people are going to say No Mercy on the N64. That was great. But to me, with the game that takes the cake is SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Because that's the one where they actually did the brand split. They did it right. You can play as a guy on each brand. You can go on a brand. You could dominate the brand, win all the gold. And it came out with these little cut scenes with these little stories, and it actually felt like you were watching WWE. Okay, and then for college football, I'm gonna just shorten these down. For college football, the definitive game for me is NCAA 14. It was the last NCAA football game that EA made, and I think it's one of the best. It has the coaching carousel, which I think is great. It also has the coordinator carousel as well. So you can start out as a coordinator, only run plays on that side of the ball, then become a head coach and run plays on both sides. Or you can go back to being a coordinator. I think it is fan flipping tastic. I've been playing that game since 2014 as well. And I had to be at least in my 15th season, and I'm going to continue to play that one. And lastly, guys, for my college football game, I'm going to go with NCAA College Hoops 2K8. That's the 2K game that came out. That was the last one that they made for college. But that game is so addictive, and it is so creative. And that one is it's kind of like the NCAA football one, where you start out as a coach. If you do if you do your franchise, you start out as a coach, and you can start at a very lowly team, and you can play with that team. You can build them up, and then just like in real life, when teams see you, they try to get you to go to a bigger job. So you can do that, go to a bigger job, get good over there, and then go to a bigger job, get good over there, and try to get to your dream school. Try to get to your big schools, your UCLA's, your Carolinas, your Dukes, your Connecticut's, those kind of schools. So we went very long tonight, guys, but hopefully this gave you guys a little insight. Hopefully you guys are like, oh yeah, I remember that game. I love that game. Yes. And like I said, we're going to do a lot more of this, because I have these ideas about these video games, and I don't think I'm the only one. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, I'm sorry for going so long tonight, but I thought this was a really, really good topic. So I wanted to see what you guys thought. So leave me a comment, drop me a line, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about these games. If you think these games are not good, then tell me what you think is good. If I left some sports out, which I'm sure I did, tell me which ones I left out, and we can add them to the list, and then let me know, and we can talk about them next time. But until then, work hard, hug your loved ones, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys. I'll be back on Monday. I hope you will too.